Got a small bank account on RuneScape? Just a couple GP in the bank? Well, this challenge is for you. You have 1 hour, starting with 0 GP and no items, to make as much gold as possible. You can use any account. If you're gonna use untradables, you have to acquire them during the challenge. You can't just take them out of your bank. The winner gets 1 billion GP. You guys know the drill. I'm not rich on RuneScape, so I buy bonds to award the winner of the challenge, and I couldn't do it without the sponsor of today's video. State of Survival is a zombie-themed survival strategy mobile game, and it's free to play and available in both the Apple and Google app stores. Before we get into the gameplay, I want to mention that State of Survival has a super cool partnership with AMC to bring characters and storylines from The Walking Dead into the game. The event runs from April to October. This brings a new playable hero, Daryl Dixon. He has a customized storyline within the State of Survival universe. Players can enter the map to gather resources like food or medicine. During that, you run into encounters with different NPCs and trigger dialogues or combats. Combats consume resources players collect, so allocate resources carefully. Let's get into some of the features. You can grow and design your own settlement, recruit heroes, and train troops to complete missions, and there are multiple game modes, PvP, PvE, and KvK, which is a battle between different servers. The storyline in the game is super exciting with lots of twists and turns, so if you're into that, you should definitely download the game right now, and make sure to join an alliance to play with players around the world. Mine is sirpugger, which you can join. So download State of Survival using the link below to experience new exciting Walking Dead content. Use my creator code sirpuggerSOS to redeem an in-game starter pack, which has a limited number on a first-come, first-served basis. Thanks again to State of Survival for sponsoring this video. Let's just get right into the challenge. Pukapantu starts off his run doing something pretty smart. He starts the run at the Fountain of Rune. He's casting the Hunter Kit spell, getting free runes from the Fountain of Rune, which gives a bunch of free hunter supplies, including box traps. He casts the spell and drops all the supplies except for the box traps until he has 5 and goes to the Black Chinchampas, where he hunts 73 exactly. Must be something about that number. He's gonna run south over to Edgeville to pick up his Wilderness Elite Diary reward, Wilderness Sword 4, and then head over to the Grand Exchange and sell those Black Chinchampas. With the money, he buys 12 uncharged Amulet of Glories and teleports to the Fountain of Rune with the Wilderness Sword 4 to charge the Glories. He's charging these Glories pretty quickly, and he can make between 300 to 700 GP per Glory depending on the prices. It's Jadez starts off their run at LMS. Obviously with no items, the minigame doesn't require any, and it's probably a pretty good way of getting some starting cash for the run. He's in the final 1v1 in his first match, which took almost 12 minutes, and he goes for the declaw spec, KOs his opponent, gets 6 kills, and wins the game. That gets him 7 points, and he buys 7 looting bag notes with them. He's gonna teleport to Soul Wars, go to the Grand Exchange, and offer up those looting bag notes for a total of 300k. Most of them sell, and he gets 214k. With that GP, he buys a trident, some Zerishans, a rune crossbow, and a dragon scimitar. He heads to Zaya and runs over to the Chambers of Xeric with 42 minutes left. I think I don't need to tell you guys that soloing the Chambers of Xeric with budget gear in 42 minutes would be pretty impressive. Let's just call this contestant Dad. Dad starts off his run by getting a Draken's Medallion, so he has unlimited teleports to Darkmire. And Dad's strategy is simple. Pickpocket the Vires in Darkmire. At a rate of 1 in 5,000, you can receive a blood shard for pickpocketing Vires. Blood shards are worth 7 million GP. Obviously, Dad is also profiting from the other drops you get from pickpocketing. With 42 minutes left, Dad actually receives a blood shard. So that's 7 million GP in the bank. Can he get more? I guess the question is, how lucky is Dad? Not an alt account starts off his run pickpocketing a citizen of Prifddinas. In just 5 pickpockets, he gets an enhanced crystal teleport seed. I wonder how many times he had to restart a run to get that seed early. That's a 1 in 1,024 drop rate, and it's currently 3.7 million GP. He immediately sells it on the Grand Exchange for 4 mil, buys a blowpipe and a fury, and heads over to Karen to the Alchemical Hydra. The average kill of the Alchemical Hydra is 160k. He has a 1 in 1,001 chance of getting a Hydra's Claw, which is 40.6 mil. His first kill, he gets 285 Chaos Runes and a Mystic Fire and Water Staff. His second kill, a Dragon Medhelm. His fourth kill, Rune Plate Body and Plate Legs. And his fifth kill, 300 Blood Runes and a Dragon Longsword. Acrolance starts off his run by doing some Pyramid Plunder. And a little bit over 2 minutes into his run, he gets a Pharaoh Scepter. That's worth 2.5 mil. He's gonna sell that on the Grand Exchange and then head over to Prifddinas. specifically to the rune shop where he starts buying up cosmic runes and hopping worlds. The wiki says you can buy cosmic runes there for 27 GP each, but the GE price is 185 GP. That's 160 GP profit per rune, and you can buy 50 at a time. So if the worlds have enough stock each time he buys 50 cosmic runes, he's making over 5k GP. Sonic Symbol starts off his run at the Grand Exchange by killing an imp. He gets an ensouled imp head and also some fiendish ashes, which he sells on the Grand Exchange for 270 GP, and uses that gold to buy 5 box traps. He's gonna spend 5 minutes at the Black Chinchampas getting 20, and then head back to the GE, sell those Chinchampas and buy budget range gear. He then heads over to the Adamant Dragons. His strategy is to buy super cheap food and bank after each kill. He has a 1 in 5,000 chance of getting a Dragon Metal Slice, which is 47 mil. Pinoy starts off his run in a last man standing game. It's worth noting he's on mobile, and he's shockingly good at PKing on mobile. He does LMS for a while, and there are actually plenty of epic moments, like this one where he gets hit down to 3 hit points but KOs his opponent. Another time he makes it to the final fight but loses. And the game after that, he has 5 kills in the final fight and KOs his opponent for the win, getting 6 kills on mobile. He spent 40 minutes at LMS and is going to spend all 16 points on an ornate maul handle and a blighted sack. He sells those at the Grand Exchange for a total of 700k, but his run's not over. Relic starts off his run picking up his Draken's medallion, but doesn't use it right away and teleports to last man standing. The first game he enters runs for about 14 minutes, and he's down to the last player alive and KOs him to win the LMS game with 5 kills. He spends the 7 points on 2 looting bag notes and a magic shortbow scroll, and sells them at the Grand Exchange for 284k, buying a ton of PVMing supplies. He's gonna go pick up some budget untradables along the way, and then he does something incredibly ambitious for most players. He enters a solo instance with the Fasani Nightmare. Hope he has some good RNG. Libitus starts off their run in Prifddinas and pickpockets a citizen there for 298 GP. He immediately heads to the Herbalore shop and starts buying pestle and mortars. He only buys a few and sells those at the Grand Exchange for a total of 6,900 GP, and then buys a butterfly net and some impling jars. 4 minutes into the run, he finds a crystal impling and gets 46 rune javelin heads. 90 seconds later, he finds another crystal impling and opens it for 5 rune scimitars, and catches a final crystal impling. When he opens it, he gets an elven signet, which he sells for 4.6 million GP. For the rest of his run, he's gonna buy cosmic runes from the rune shop there in Prifddinas, and catch any more crystal implings he comes across along the way. Rip Grinding starts off his run at the Farming Guild and immediately pickpockets the Master Farmer, only for about 40 seconds until he gets a Raynar Seed, and then he immediately uses the Spirit Tree to go to the Grand Exchange and sells the Raynar Seed for 40k. With that 40k, he buys a rune pickaxe and some supplies and teleports to Varrock, where he picks up the Elite Diary Reward Varrock Plate Body 4. He's gonna use the Spirit Tree again, this time to go to Prifddinas, and he's heading towards Zolcano. Zolcano's a great moneymaker. If you don't already know, you could get an uncut onyx or a crystal tool seed, which is like 5.4 million GP. His first kill, he gets 83 mithril bars. His second kill, he gets 230 coal, and his third kill, he gets 41 adamant bars. He sells everything including the rune pick for about 190k. Now he buys super combat potions, and with the crystal shards he got from killing Zolcano, they drop every time you kill Zolcano. He's gonna change those super combat potions into divine super combat potions, which is a profit of almost 7k per potion. He uses all of those up, sells them, and has 364k. He's gonna spend about 300k buying a full inventory of uncharged glories, and then head to Edgeville to pick up the Wilderness Elite Diary Reward Wilderness Sword 4, which he then uses to teleport to the Fountain of Rune. He gets between 300 to 500 GP profit per amulet he charges. Except something epic happens on his first inventory. He actually gets an amulet of eternal glory, which is 34.2 million GP, and there's only a 1 in 25,000 chance. He's gonna put that up for sale in the Grand Exchange, and it doesn't sell right away, and in the meantime sells the other glory amulets and goes back to Zolcano. Dad still has a few minutes left, but he's wrapping up at the Grand Exchange, selling everything. He only received 1 blood shard during the hour, but he ends his run with 7.9 million GP. That's still pretty epic. We're back with not an ult to count, and he's still doing Alchemical Hydra trying to get lucky. On his 6th kill, he gets 36 Onyx Bolt Tips and 10 Grimy Raynar Weeds, 7th kill a Dragon Longsword and 100 Blood Runes, and does 3 more kills without getting any other interesting loot. His run ends with 5.23 million GP. He's not happy with his RNG. With less than 14 minutes left, Acrolance stops buying Cosmic Runes. He's been doing that for the majority of his run and heads to the Grand Exchange. He's purchased over 15,000 of them. He sells all of them and has a cash stack of 3.85 mil. That means that in less than 45 minutes just buying runes, he's made over 1.3 million GP. He heads back to Pyramid Plunder, probably to try to get lucky again with a Pharaoh Scepter. And with 8 minutes and 30 seconds left, he gets an unexpected drop. Rocky the Pet. He ends his run there, but that is some ridiculous RNG. He got a Pharaoh Scepter, bought a bunch of Cosmic Runes and made 3.85 mil, and then got himself a pet. Sonic Symbol has been at the Adam and Dragons for the last 20 minutes without any notable drops until this Dragon Plate Legs. And on his very next kill, he actually gets an Elite Clue Scroll. Not the Dragon Metal Slice he was looking for, but he pivots. For the next 20 minutes, he completes the Elite Clue Scroll. He gets the casket with less than 2 minutes left. And he actually gets 2 rares, a Fremennik Kilt and a Musketeer Tabard. The clue is worth 3.2 million GP. Sonic Symbol ends up with 3.5 million GP. After getting 700k at LMS in the first 40 minutes, Pinoy is going to start buying a lot of jewelry. Once again, I'm just going to point out, this guy is speedrunning GP on mobile. He heads over to the jewelry shop in Port Sarim and starts selling small quantities of the jewelry he purchased with the 700k and Hopping Worlds. Time runs out on Pinoy at the jewelry shop and he goes back to the Grand Exchange to sell everything. He ends with 940k. So he added another 240k from selling that jewelry. Pretty impressive to do this on mobile. With 4 minutes and 30 seconds left, it's Jada's kills Olm to complete the raid. Not just that, he gets a purple drop. A Dexterous Prayer Scroll, which is 12.1 million GP. Pretty epic, he could have gotten a Twisted Bow. He completed the raid in 37 minutes and 26 seconds with budget gear. He sells the Dexterous Prayer Scroll for 12 million GP. The final price check is 12.19 million GP. Relic finishes up his first kill at the Fasani Nightmare. The fight took 15 minutes and he's not lucky, 250 Nature Runes. He's able to get 1 more kill before the time runs out, and again, not lucky, 240 Death Runes. Now, Relic told me he actually did 25 runs, aka 50 kill count. There's an effective chance of 1 in 160 of receiving any of the uniques. Any of the uniques other than the Nightmare Staff would probably win him the challenge. He had about a 25% chance of getting one of those high-valued uniques and winning. We're back with Pukapantu with a little bit over half his run left. He's been charging glories, and he actually gets incredibly lucky as well, and gets an Amulet of Eternal Glory. He ends up selling it for 37 million GP. Now, Rip Grinding also received an Amulet of Eternal Glory, so the competition between them is who made the most money other than the Amulet of Eternal Glory. For the rest of Pukapantu's run, he's gonna buy clay and cast the Humidify spell to turn it into soft clay. The margins on this right now are really small. Only about 40 GP per clay changed into soft clay. With 4 minutes left, he goes to the bar in Varrock to get something to drink. His final price check was 37.24 million GP. We're back with Lib and he's caught a few more crystal implings and gotten 16 crystal shards. He's purchased 25,000 cosmic runes as well. He's gonna ground up those crystal shards and then use those to make some divine potions. With 5 seconds left, he catches another crystal impling and he opens it for 5 more rune scimitars. Lib ends with 7.6 million GP. Nice run. We're back with Rip Grinding and he's been doing Zolcano for the last 40 minutes. He goes back to the Grand Exchange to sell the loot, and as you can see, the Amulet of Eternal Glory has sold. Throughout the last 40 minutes, he periodically lowered the price because it wasn't selling. It ended up selling for 36.4 million GP. He's gonna use up his remaining crystal shards on the super combat potions to make some extra profit before the time runs out. With less than a minute left, Rip Grinding price checks his coins, 37.87 million GP. I do verify ultra rare drops in runs. Jagex told me Rip Grinding did receive an Amulet of Eternal Glory legitimately the day he sent me the clip. 1 in 25,000 is some pretty good RNG right there. Rip Grinding actually sold the Eternal Glory for less than Pukapantu, but ended up with 600k more and wins the challenge. He said he did about 8 runs and charged 7.2 glories, which means he had between 20 to 25% chance of getting that Amulet of Eternal Glory. Don't spend spend all the gold in one place. Here are the high scores for this challenge, and a special thanks to the GP donators Joe Rogan's Legacy PVM, which is a clan, and Zoxo. Legacy PVM is focused on Theater of Blood and Chambers of Xeric, and seems like a wholesome community, by the way, if you're interested in joining them. If you'd like to support this series, you can donate 10 mil GP or more by contacting me at sirpuggertipoff@gmail.com or sirpuggerchallengesubmission@gmail.com. I'm happy to announce the next challenge as well. It's very similar to this one. You can use any account. It's a GP speedrunning. You must start with 0 GP, but you're also locked to a single region of the game. These regions are determined by the Trailblazer League. There are 9 of them, and there will be 100 million GP prize per winner of each region. So if you have an obscure moneymaker in an unpopular region, you might even be the only one to submit a clip. For this challenge, your 1 hour run is due 1 week from the uploading of this video. Specific rules can be found on the community tab of my YouTube channel. Make sure to read them carefully.